Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. You know, we've all been there, right? Feeling totally stuck in a loop, compulsively reaching for our phones, pouring that fourth cup of coffee, or maybe grabbing something a bit stronger just to get through a stressful day. But what if the actual root of these habits isn't the substance or the screen at all? Today, we're exploring the absolutely fascinating neuroscience of Dr. Joe Dispenza. We're going to figure out exactly how our minds get programmed by our past, and way more importantly, how we can practically unlearn those deep-seated patterns to create a completely new reality for ourselves.
So, we really need to kick things off by asking a pretty provocative question. Are you addicted to your own emotions? When we hear the word addiction, our minds usually go straight to those really dramatic, cinematic scenarios. But if you actually look at society today, almost everyone is hooked on something. It's time to realize that it's rarely just about the physical object we're craving. It's actually about the internal state we are desperately trying to manage. I mean, think about it. Whether it's scrolling endlessly on social media, gaming until 3 in the morning, or relying on a couple of drinks to unwind, we are usually just using these external tools to run away from an internal feeling. We might feel empty, anxious, or unworthy, and we honestly just don't know how to fix it from the inside out. So what do? We reach out into our environment for something, literally anything, to make that uncomfortable feeling go away.
Here's our roadmap for the explainer today. We're going to cover 1. The emotion behind addiction. 2. Hijacking the pleasure center. 3. When body becomes mind. 4. Rewiring through heart coherence. 5. The morning mental rehearsal. And finally, 6. Overcoming the old self. It's a journey from the biological roots of our habits all the way to a practical routine for lasting change.
Starting off with Section 1, the emotion behind addiction. Let's go back a bit. Think about a time you experienced a really profound shock, a betrayal, or some kind of trauma. In that exact fraction of a second, your brain freezes a frame. It basically takes a high-resolution snapshot, and that becomes a deeply ingrained long-term memory, tied directly to a super powerful emotion. Now here is the wild part. Your body is completely objective. It doesn't know the difference between the real-life experience that created the trauma and you simply remembering it. So just thinking about the event produces the exact same chemistry in your body as if it were happening to you right this second. You are literally conditioning your own body to live in the past.
Moving into Section 2, hijacking the pleasure center.
So let's look at the actual biology of these everyday escapes. Take gaming or binging social media, for instance. When you level up in a game or get a notification, you get this massive, rushing release of dopamine, our body's pleasure chemical. But because this surge is so far outside normal, natural human experience, your cellular receptor sites actually get overwhelmed and they just shut down. To feel that exact same high again, you're going to need a bigger stimulus. You have to play for another hour or scroll even longer. And the tragic side effect here? Your pleasure centers get hijacked to such an extreme degree that normal life just loses its spark. A beautiful sunset or a quiet, nice meal with your family just feels, well, dull.
All right, Section 3, when body becomes mind.
To understand this deeply, we really have to talk about the high beta brainwave state. When we feel like we're losing control, maybe you're super stressed at work, or you're stuck in brutal, endless traffic, our primitive fight or flight nervous system immediately switches on. We start obsessing over the problem. We totally narrow our focus, shifting frantically from worrying about our boss, to an unread email, to an argument with an ex, to our dwindling bank account. Every single one of those things has a distinct neurological network in your brain. When you activate all of them at once in a panic, the brain fires completely out of order. It's literally like an incoherent lightning storm inside your head. Your brain essentially becomes a house divided against itself.
Let's shift gears to the solution in Section 4, rewiring through heart coherence.
The absolute best antidote to that narrow, stressed-out focus is to intentionally broaden it. When you actively take your focus off the stressful material world and place it on space, on pure nothingness, you actually stop analyzing. I mean, you can't analyze when you're purely sensing, right? Doing this slows your brainwaves right down from that chaotic high beta state into alpha, or even deeper into a theta state. In these slower, far more relaxed states, that critical, nagging little voice in your head finally shuts off. The door to your subconscious mind swings wide open, and that's when you become fully receptive to making real, lasting changes.
When you transition into this coherent state, something truly amazing happens. Those fragmented, chaotic communities of neurons in your brain actually start to synchronize with each other. The front of the brain links up with the back of the brain in total, beautiful harmony. And when your brain becomes coherent like this, it sends a powerful, synchronized signal straight down to your heart.
You finally stop feeling like you're being chased by a tiger, and you genuinely feel safe enough to heal and create again.
Which brings us to the immense, mind-bending power of epigenetics. This is the fact that our environment signals our genes. But remember, to your body, an emotion is just the end product of an experience. So if you can sit down and purposefully sustain a really elevated emotion, like immense gratitude or unconditional love, your highly objective body literally believes you are living in a brand new, amazing environment. By doing this, you are actually knocking on the genetic door. You're downregulating the genes for disease and upregulating the genes for health, purely by thought and feeling alone. It's incredible.
Now, you might be wondering, just how long does this kind of profound rewiring take? Well, try 7 days. Just 7. Dr. Dispenza's research team actually tracked novice meditators over just a 7-day immersive retreat. These people just sat in a plain, totally boring ballroom, completely changing their internal state. And in just 1 week, they showed substantial biological changes in over 2,800 cellular markers tied to healing and immunity. Their nervous systems essentially manufactured an internal pharmacy, completely proving that how we think and feel rapidly alters our biological reality.
Section 5. The Morning Mental Rehearsal. Your biology actually gives you 2 massive windows of opportunity every single day, right when you wake up and right as you go to sleep. During these times, your brainwaves are naturally sliding through those highly suggestible theta and alpha states before you hit fully awake beta. The door to your subconscious is wide open. Yet, what do most of us do? 86% of us immediately reach for our cell phones. We haven't even brushed our teeth yet, and we're already reconnecting to our stressful emails, the bad news, and all our past problems. We are instantly programming ourselves right back into our old, stressed-out identity.
To break this habit, you absolutely need a new routine. Dr. Dispenza uses this brilliant, super practical framework. First rule, avoid the phone. Second, enter what he calls the think box. Now, this isn't the meditation part just yet. This is where you intentionally assign meaning to what you're about to do. You consciously decide exactly who you are going to be today. You mentally rehearse how you'll handle that stressful Zoom meeting or that annoying coworker without losing your temper. You get incredibly clear on your intention. Only then do you drop into the play box, the actual meditation, where you completely stop analyzing and simply execute that elevated emotion you just planned out.
And finally, Section 6. Overcoming the Old Self.
Meditation in this context is definitely not just some passive relaxation tool to feel a little bit sleepy. No, it is an active, really demanding mental rehearsal. It requires serious energy. If you sit down feeling frustrated and you get up 30 minutes later still feeling frustrated, well, the experiment failed. The ultimate goal here is to break the habit of your old self so thoroughly that you literally stand up as an entirely different person.
And getting to that new person requires what's often called sitting through the fire. When you meditate, your body, which has become literally addicted to its old anxiety and stress hormones, is going to throw a massive tantrum. It will beg you to check your email, go get a coffee, or just quit altogether. You'll feel super agitated. Most people stop right here and say, "Oh, I'm just bad at meditating." But listen, that discomfort is exactly where the work actually begins. The true victory is refusing to quit. You deliberately lower the volume of that anxiety, gently settling your body back into the present moment. When you finally break through to the other side, all that trapped emotion turns into liberated, free energy that you can actually use to heal and create a new life. This whole process completely transforms our relationship with our own history. When you break it down, there's a fundamental difference between a painful memory and actual wisdom. When we recall a past trauma and it still makes us furiously angry, well, it's just a painful memory. But when we finally sit through that fire and overcome the raw emotion attached to the trauma, the memory simply becomes wisdom. You're no longer tethered to the past. And honestly, the most beautiful biological side effect of all this, when that negative emotion finally drops, your oxytocin levels can skyrocket up to 200 times their normal level. At that profound level of love and wholeness, holding a grudge is chemically impossible. True forgiveness just naturally follows. Ultimately, rewiring your brain is an ongoing daily practice. It's pretty simple. What you practice, you get remarkably good at. If you spend your days practicing stress, anger, and victimhood, your brain gets world-class at being stressed. But if you dedicate time every single morning to practice gratitude, wholeness, and heart coherence, you get insanely good at those instead. Every single day is a fresh opportunity to consciously step onto the playing field and choose your state of being, rather than just passively defaulting to your biological history. So I want to leave you with this final really powerful question to chew on.
If your feelings dictate your thoughts, and your feelings are just chemical records of your past, then you are simply reliving yesterday over and over again. Whose life are you really living? I want to challenge you to use the insights from this explainer to step off the bleachers, make the time to overcome your old self, sit through the fire, and become the active, joyful creator of a future you are truly excited to live. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today.